on. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If everybody will sort of settle in, we're going to call this as the 30-second warning, and then we'll get moving here, moving right along. The question was asked earlier about how to social distance in this room. We're going to do our best. We're going to try to adhere to what it said on the door from the public. 12 people in the room. We're broadcasting the meeting. I'm going to encourage everyone to keep spread apart. If we have, I think we have one more position up here for subcommittee members. So we have before us, let me get back to our agenda. This is, I will go ahead and call at this time, call the meeting of the Ways and Means Subcommittee on Sales Tax to order. At this time, we have two items before us today. House Bill 160, House Bill 374. We're going to go in numerical order because we have that author here. HB 160, LC 431787. Representative, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I appreciate you allowing me to speak today to HB 160. HB 160 is the most sales tax legislation that I'm filing on behalf of the city of East Point, the city of College Park, and the city of Hapeville. I actually represent and live in East Point, and I represent parts of the city of College Park. So basically, I want to give a little bit of background, Mr. Chair, and also I want to reserve and yield some of my time to my House colleagues that's in the East Point delegation, as well as the East Point mayor, Mayor Ingram Holiday, who's here today. Holiday Ingram, who's here today, so I want to make sure I reserve some time for her. Basically, I want to give a little bit of historical background. In 2002, Mayor Shirley Franklin of the city of Atlanta was elected. In 2003. She came before this same General Assembly for the 1 cent penny most sales tax in order to pay for improvements to the Atlanta sewer and wastewater system. That tax was actually leveled in 2004. It has been extended, and it was extended in 2008 by this General Assembly in HB 929. And now Atlanta gets the opportunity to use the most sales tax up until possibly 2032 with extensions by voters. And voters in the city of Atlanta have voted 4 times to extend the referendum to allow for the tax. Now, in the current scenario, we would have Atlanta sewer wastewater system is connected to the surrounding cities of East Point, College Park, and Hapeville. While Atlanta has had the opportunity to levy the penny to improve their stormwater system and sewer system in Atlanta, the surrounding cities have been forced to pay the entire burden of their improvements with general funds. And so what this legislation would do, Mr. Chair, it would allow the citizens of East Point, College Park, and Hapeville to actually vote on a sales tax, a most sales tax like the city of Atlanta. And again, our wastewater system is directly connected to the city of Atlanta. And so we need the same improvements just as Atlanta does. Right now, for the total infrastructure costs, just to improve the infrastructure in the city of East Point would be $7,717. If we had the most sales tax as a revenue source projected for the next 5 years, the city of East Point alone would be able to raise $41,406. So we will be able to raise over $41 million. And so at this point in time, we're just at a point, Mr. Chair, where our infrastructure in these 3 cities, very important cities to this state, needs the improvements. Now, the city of College Park is where the Atlanta airport lies. It's the largest, one of the largest and busiest airports in the world. And right now, this wastewater system feeds right into that jewel of the South. And so if we're going to be able to continue to do the things in the city of East Point, College Park, In Hapeville, we need the most sales tax to be levied. Now, quickly, this legislation, if you look at line 13 currently applies to the city of Atlanta. Lines 15 through 17 would apply to Atlanta, East Point, College Park, and Hapeville, because we are connected to Atlanta, which is a municipality that uses an average of no less than 85 million gallons of wastewater a day. So with that being said, Mr. Chair, we do have another portion in there with the cities have stated that they are fine with consenting to an internal independent audit once a year if the General Assembly, through the Speaker of the House or the Lieutenant Governor or the Governor, so adheres to. That was language that we added in last year when we presented the legislation at the will of some of the members of this body. Now, we don't have to have that portion in there, but it was put in at the request of some members of the Ways and Means Committee. So at this time, Mr. Chair, I only have 10 minutes. I want to make sure I reserve and yield to Madam Mayor or my House colleagues, whoever needs to go at this time.
I'm going to leave that up to you, sir. We are limited on time. I want to get to the mayor side. I know chairman of my delegation, Fulton County delegation, Representative Dreyer wants to speak.
Yes.
Representative, you want to yield to the mayor, or you wish to?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I'm going to try to give you both time. I'm just asking if you want to give deference to the folks. Yep.
Okay.
Mayor.
Yes. And Mr. Chair, East Point, College Park, and Hapeville have considered to the audit, but the city of Atlanta has not.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Mayor, if you don't mind, if he did a fine job introducing, but just for those that might not have been here that are watching, if you could identify yourself and welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity. Good afternoon. I'm Dina Holiday Ingram, Mayor of the great city of East Point, where there's no point like East Point. And unfortunately, that's because I have $326 million of infrastructure needs that we have in our city, and we're trying to figure out a way to fund them. And so we have definitely been exploring GFA loans and other opportunities to try to deal with the infrastructure needs. But everyone knows that we're talking about water, right? So we're not talking about widgets. If our water is not clean, that is not safe for our residents. And thankfully it is, but our infrastructure plays a large part in ensuring that we can maintain safe and clean water. And so we have $291,979,049 in water infrastructure projects, $18,448,668 in sewer infrastructure projects, and $15,580,000 in stormwater infrastructure projects. And so if the most were to pass, the total revenue we project over the 5 years would be $54,526,449. Of that, East Point would receive around $35 million, College Park would receive around $13 million, and Hapeville would receive about $6.5 million, for a total project cost over that period of time of $57.9 million. And so let me just say that it is critically important. We have been lobbying and trying to get a most for several years. We cannot fee our way out of this. There's no need in even trying to increase the rates for our residents, because it will not be enough. We are spending on average a little over $3.5 million just in repairs alone, based on being reactive, like responding to serious water main infrastructure breaks. Our reservoir has a crack in it. So we are in dire need. And while we are looking at multiple streams of income, the most is a critical component of us being able to continue to ensure that we provide safe, clean water to our residents, and that the infrastructure we have is able to do that. And we're not unique. This is a issue across this country. Looking forward to what might happen at the federal level, but we absolutely right now need help at the state level.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I do have a couple of questions, but in the interest of time, I'm going to go to the other folks that want to speak, and then if we have time, I'll get back and ask those here. Otherwise, I'll get with you when we complete the meeting today.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Chairman Dryer, did you want to find the microphone?
Thank you, Chairman Martin, and I'll be brief, but I just want to tell you, East Point and Hateville are both in my district, and if you haven't spent any time walking around neighborhoods in the area, it's an amazing place. It's full of hardworking people. It's got expensive homes, it's got affordable housing, but a lot of people have been attracted to East Point because of its affordable housing and because of its jobs. It's a transportation logistical hub. It's right next to the airport, but they're just saddled with these enormously high water bills. East Point has done everything right. They work very closely with GMA. They have managed their budget extremely well. Their mayor, their council are active and they're engaged and they make smart, responsible decisions. But we're stuck. We're stuck because we were connected to Atlanta many times, many years ago, and Atlanta has upgraded, which was needed. And we just have to be able to match that infrastructure. I appreciate that East Point is not here asking for a handout. They're asking for a way to solve their own problems in a way that's worked for other municipalities in the same situation. So thank you for considering this. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Chairman Dryer. Did you have anyone else, or is anyone else from the delegation that wish to speak?
Representative Kim Schofield is here.
Representative, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also represent East Point, College Park, and Hapeville. And, you know, everyone has said so eloquently that it's just time. Things break down, things need repair. We've been around the mulberry bush a couple of times now. And they're not asking for a handout. There's residents, the citizens of East Point, College Park, and Hapeville need a hand. And they have been more than responsible and good stewards of what we've entrusted to them. And so I'm asking for a favorable vote and discussion to help this out. Let's move this forward this year, please.
Thank you. And the Chair failed to mention that this was going to be a hearing only on this bill. That's not, well, absolutely no. I just want to say that the lady's comments and requests is not going unheard. That was just the status of as we were coming in.
Yes.
You know, I am somewhat, I'll age myself a bit and tell you that I think I remember serving in the Atlanta Regional Commission around with the mayor,
Yes.
previous mayor of Hateville, back to Mayor Hanna,
Yes.
Betty Hanna, and Jack Longino, and
College Park.
Patsy Joe Hilliard was
Yes.
the mayor of East Point. So I go way back from that. So we appreciate that. I guess at this point, I would ask if, as the author of the bill, if the committee members have any questions regards to the bill. One of the things I will mention to the subcommittee, if you have your iPad and you're looking, I'm having to build it back up. The gentleman, their operative portions for them in the bill is lines 15 through 17, and there's some additional language that's added with respect to the governor, the speaker, or the lieutenant governor may request a comprehensive audit. In the interest of time, I think there's some folks from the city of Atlanta that would like to at least talk about that. We're not going to move that today, but if there are no questions relative to this, we'll go briefly if there's a representative from Atlanta here that
Yes.
wishes to speak to that. But before we do this, I want to sort of finish this. This is sort of the section, if you will, section 1 of the bill, lines 15 through 17. Anybody have questions, Representative Bodie, before we move forward? Any committee members, subcommittee members? Thanks, sir. Is there a representative from the mayor or the mayor's office, City of Atlanta, watershed management? Any of the above? We'll turn to you for a moment. And please identify.
Good afternoon. I'm Christy Bickham. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Atlanta's Department of Watershed Management. And my only comment is simply that, you know, we're supportive of transparency and just want to understand the concerns as it relates to the audit. And we just want to ensure that there's not duplication because obviously we're already audited on an annual basis as it is. So just wanted to get some more understanding about what the concerns might be. And certainly we can address that offline.
Yes, ma'am. No, you raise a good point, and the chair will try to address this. I think you hit it right on the head. We probably need to make sure we're in alignment offline. Or offline, we'll bring it, of course, back before the subcommittee or full committee to report back. But I think the individual or individuals that may have been interested in this may not be here today. So I'm going to suggest that we get with them offline and work to make sure we have the complete transparency that everybody's looking for. And if we need this in the bill, I'm sure the city of Atlanta will work with us on doing that. But I would agree, we don't want to duplicate effort and spend taxpayers' money. So I thank you for being here and being responsive to that. And if the committee has no questions of the city, we'll move forward. And I'll put the folks with the chairman's consent, Chairman Blackman's consent, I'll put those folks together and make sure that we flesh out section 2. And then we'll try to get this in a position that we can move on it right away. Any further questions? Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that completes our discussion on HB 160. Representative Buddy, from your standpoint, I think we know what's going on in your 3 lines. I did have a couple of questions, and I'll get with the mayor if you can help me. One is just, do they have the relative cities or the watershed, group together? If it's together, is it set up through an enterprise fund? How has that money been spent over the years? That sort of thing, because we can always find more money to put into a project. I think we need to be able to tell people where that money has been used for, and you probably have good answers for that, but I think that would be wise if we're going to ask the taxpayers for more. The other thing I would spread for the committee is, should the state approve this, you would still have to go to your voters and they would have to approve it. So this would be a ballot initiative. It's not the state pushing down a tax. It's allowing you, the people, to do that. With that, we'll move on to House Bill 374. House Bill 374. Representative Gaines, if you would take the chair. If you can do it quickly, you don't even have to sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 374 is exactly language that we passed 166-0 last legislative session. Just with timing, weren't able to get all the way through the legislative process. But essentially what this bill does is it lines up any multi-county water and sewer authority with any single county water and sewer authority where they would be sales tax exempt from local and state sales tax.
Are there questions, the author? We would be in a position, should when we get there in just a moment, to move this. So if subcommittee has questions, the author, now would be the time to ask those. Again, very concise. You have a multi-county authority you want to put on the same playing field as a single county authority. Pass the committee. I think it
Passed the House,
the House, full House.
166-0 last year.
Yes, sir. Questions? Does anybody? Okay. Yeah, we have the original LC number, LC 34-1855. Is that what you have, Mr. Gaines?
43-1855.
Did I say it backwards? Sometimes I do that. LC 43-1855. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak to this? Anyone from the public wish to speak to this? You have anything further? Now, did you have something? This would be the chair would accept a motion. LC, I'm about to do it again. LC 43-1855, House Bill 374. What's the pleasure of the subcommittee? I have a motion to this move forward to full committee with due pass recommendation and a second. Is there discussion? Discussion on the motion. Motion is due pass on House Bill 374 LC 43-1855. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion passes unanimously. HB 374 moves on to full committee. If there's no further business before the subcommittee today, we'll stand adjourned without objection. See no objection. This subcommittee sales tax is hereby adjourned.